What's the best case of irony you've seen lately? Donald Trump saying the former Mexican president should apologize for crude language?
This guy used a filthy, disgusting word on television, and he should be ashamed of himself, and he should apologize.
Maybe it was that Milo protester who says he values the First Amendment, the very amendment that protects his right to protest, only in certain circumstances.
Are you for the First Amendment in certain circumstances? Holy shit! You only believe in free speech in certain circumstances?
How about Zimbabwe having to kill off hundreds of lions since nobody hunts there anymore after all the protests of the guy who killed Cecil? All excellent choices, but none are the best one. I'll tell you about my favorite recent example of irony as reported by USA Today. Black Lives Matter meetings run afoul of library policy, you say. Well, I suppose maybe those meetings get a little bit rowdy. Got to keep the library quiet, I'm sure. Library officials have told the Nashville chapter of the Black Lives Matter movement that meetings restricting those who attend by race aren't allowed on public property. Wait, what? The group has a rule, said Joshua Crutchfield, an organizer of the Nashville chapter. Only blacks or other minorities are allowed to attend. That means whites are excluded. So this anti-racist organization is excluding people from its meetings on the basis of race. Nashville Public Library officials said they're following a library policy that specifies all meetings at their facilities must be open to the public and news media. The library didn't cancel anyone's meeting, said library spokesman Emily Waltonbaugh. We are taxpayer funded. We have to be open to anyone at any time. Where do we start? I don't know what the bigger problem is here. The fact that what Black Lives Matter Nashville wants is in direct opposition to racial justice, or the fact that what they want is, as a practical matter, completely unenforceable. So let's just tackle both. To the first point, what you're advocating, Black Lives Matter Nashville, is segregation in public accommodation. You call them safe spaces for black people and other people of color, but your safe spaces are really just throwbacks to safe drinking fountains, safe bathrooms, or safe bus seats. The group claims it's supremacist to believe that public facilities must be open to all regardless of race. Not so. In fact, it's exactly the policy for which a very important man fought. But I think maybe you misheard his speech.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, and that's why separate but equal is a pretty good policy, and we should keep it. I have a dream that one day our spaces will be safe from the horrors of racial desegregation.
To the second point, even if you could have this no white people rule, how would you enforce it? What are you gonna do when Rachel Dolezal shows up?
Hey guys, I'm here for the meeting. I saw the sign on the door about those darn white people, but don't worry, I'm like super black.
I assure you, she cares as much about racial justice as you do, but we have to see the color of her parents before we let her in? How about a case where there isn't deception, just ambiguity? Let's remember that Homer Plessy, the plaintiff in the case that established the separate but equal standard, was himself an octoroon. He was 1/8 black. This man was legally black and legally discriminated against. Yet if he shows up at your meeting today, you bounce him like he's Casper the Friendly Ghost. What if I show up? For all you know, I grew up in an impoverished inner city with a single mom, all black neighbors, and a deep connection to the injustice your group seeks to destroy. How do you vet that? The answer is simple, and it's the one previous generations fought so admirably to achieve. The answer is that this, the color of my flesh, is a meaningless way to measure what's in here and what's in here. The only way to assess a person is on individual merit, the content of his or her character, the thoughts in his or her head, the motivation in his or her heart. Colorblindness isn't just the best policy or the right policy or the moral policy. It is the only practical policy. Until we stop seeing color and we start seeing people, these problems will persist. I'd expect an organization based on racial justice to understand that concept. But maybe it's not about justice at all. Maybe it is, in fact, about supremacy. There's another irony for you. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate the thoughtful discussion down below, and especially over on Twitter. That is @skag_3. You're always welcome to come hang out and chat in my live stream. That is linked down in the description. Looking forward to it. Okay, bye.